Judging by fresh satellite images, the attack on the oil depot near the city of Engels, Saratov region, Russian Federation, was significantly more effective than previously assumed. This was reported by the publication NV. The images clearly show 7 fuel tanks destroyed or severely damaged in the strike, more than double the number analysts initially estimated after the June 6 attack. The first series of images published on June the 7th were hampered by thick smoke that stretched for tens of kilometers, which made it impossible to objectively assess the scale of the destruction. However, new data confirms that Ukrainian UAVs very effectively hit a critically important facility, an oil depot at the Kristall Rosreserve enterprise. It supplies fuel to the strategically important Engels II airfield. This is already the third strike on this facility since the beginning of 2025. Satellite images also confirm a successful drone attack on a defense plant in the city of Cheboksary, almost 1,000 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Despite the low resolution of the image, traces of a fire were recorded on the roof of one of the buildings. These changes became obvious when compared with archival satellite footage, according to a statement from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. At least 2 strikes were carried out on the plant's territory on the night of June the 9th. As a result, a large-scale fire broke out. The plant plays an important role in the Russian military-industrial complex. The enterprise is engaged in the development of navigation and telecommunications equipment, including key components for UAV control systems and Iskander-M and Caliber missiles. In addition, the plant supplies electronics for the submarine fleet and high-precision systems for energy and military needs. Production volumes at this facility increased more than 100 times in 2024. The Ukrainian Defense Forces managed to strike not only at the infrastructure supporting the Russian aerospace forces, but also at one of the technological cores of the Russian military industry of the aggressor country. Such operations demonstrate Kyiv's growing capabilities.
Ukraine once again demonstrates its ability to modernize and adapt Soviet-era combat aircraft in its arsenal, as revealed in a recently released online video. The footage clearly shows Ukrainian Air Force fighter levels a Russian-held building with a pair of French AASM Hammer 500-pound guided bombs in Kursk Oblast. The Ukrainian Air Force continues to strike Russian troops at will in the town of Tetkino, now surrounded on 3 sides by Ukrainian forces. This combination of old and new technologies clearly demonstrates Ukraine's efforts to maximize its available resources while integrating modern Western weapon systems. From a tactical perspective, this flexibility allows Ukrainian jets to perform both air superiority missions and pinpoint strikes on critical targets, which is especially crucial in the ongoing conflict. In the context of ongoing hostilities, such innovations not only enhance the effectiveness of Ukraine's strikes but also send a clear message to the country's allies and adversaries: Ukraine is capable of integrating modern Western technologies with existing Soviet systems, creating unique combat capabilities that can shift the balance of power. For example, over the years, Ukraine has adapted its Su-27 fleet to meet evolving military needs, incorporating Western technology and systems alongside Soviet-era components. For example, American precision-guided bombs, the GBU-39/B, which began being mounted on the Su-27 in the fall of 2024. These upgrades often include new radar systems, avionics, weaponry, and communication tools that increase the fighter's ability to perform a variety of missions such as air superiority, ground attack, and reconnaissance. In addition to the radar upgrade, Ukraine has incorporated Western avionics to replace older Soviet-era systems. This includes digital flight control systems, which offer improved stability, enhanced precision in maneuvering, and greater pilot control during high-speed operations. These upgrades also ensure better integration with NATO standard communication and navigation systems, enhancing interoperability with Western aircraft and forces in joint operations. Ukraine special forces have repelled a Russian offensive in Kupiansk sector in Kharkiv region, killing more than 30 soldiers of the occupying army and injuring 40 others, Kiev Post reported on Tuesday. 15 of the soldiers were killed in a gun battle. The military operation war carried out by Chimera Special Unit, part of the Timur Special Unit of the Main Intelligence Directorate, known as HUR. Sharing the video of the special operation on Telegram app, HUR captioned it as, "Chimera is in action, HUR special forces eliminate the enemy in the Kupiansk sector." The video details the crucial phases of a military operation, showing activities at the command post, an assault on Russian positions, the evacuation of injured soldiers, drone operations, and the use of fire support. 40 Russian soldiers were wounded by special forces, and 2 were captured during the operation. Moreover, reconnaissance units crushed more than 40 Russian fortifications and engineering structures. The Ukrainian troops managed to hold a large section of the front and stabilize the defense in the area as a result of the operation. Kite Post quoted an unnamed Ukrainian sniper from the Pomsta brigade as saying that Russian forces are trying to complicate Ukrainians' logistics in Kupiansk sector, making it difficult for Ukrainian troops to reach their position, but Ukrainians are holding strong. The main challenge is that getting to positions is a very big guess, and without electronic warfare, it is very difficult, the sniper said. It should be that last month Russian President Vladimir Putin announcing that the army was establishing a security buffer zone along Ukraine's border, including the Kharkiv region.
Is it possible for Vladimir Putin to be eliminated by his entourage? This question is being asked more and more often, especially in the context of a protracted war and economic pressure. Telegraph media outlet turned to the artificial intelligence Grok to model a list of people who theoretically have not only the motive, but also the opportunity to try to eliminate the Russian president. 3 key people came into focus. Sergei Shoigu, former Russian defense minister and current secretary of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Shoigu has been one of Putin's closest allies for many years. His position, military influence, and control over the army make him a figure who can act in the event of an internal crisis, especially if his own power or Russia's stability is at risk. Dossier: Sergei Kuzugetovich Shoigu is an army general, a hero of Russia, former head of the Ministry of Emergency Situations, and from 2012 to 2024, the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation. Born in Tuva, he has a degree in construction, but is known as the architect of a gigantic propaganda machine built around the Russian army. He has been wanted internationally for war crimes in Ukraine since 2024. Shoigu is suspected of large-scale embezzlement of the military budget. The family owns elite real estate and the daughters own luxury businesses. Nikolai Patrushev, former secretary of the Security Council of the Russian Federation and one of the main ideologists of the Russian power vertical. Patrushev is an FSB veteran who has serious levers of influence on the military services, part of the military and the Kremlin's administrative machine. Artificial intelligence believes that Patrushev may act if he considers that Putin's actions are harmful to Russia's long-term interests. Born in Leningrad since 1975 in the KGB system, headed the FSB in 1999 to 2008, was Secretary of the Security Council of the Russian Federation until 2024. Known for his imperial policy, support for the war in Ukraine, and conspiracy theories about the West, Patrushev has been mentioned in investigations into the poisoning of Litvinenko and drug smuggling through Russian diplomatic channels. His son, Dmitry, is the current Russian Minister of Agriculture and a member of the Gazprom board. Alexander Bortnikov, Director of the FSB since 2008. His long tenure has ensured complete control over the country's main intelligence agency. According to artificial intelligence, a conspiracy could be brewing within the FSB and Bortnikov could become part of it. Born in Perm, graduated from an engineering institute, and since 1975 worked in state security agencies. He headed the FSB of St. Petersburg and then became the director of the entire structure. He has the rank of Army General, numerous state and foreign awards. In 2020, he was sanctioned by the EU for poisoning Navalny, and since 2022, he has been under restrictions by the US, Canada, Ukraine, and other countries for supporting a full-scale Russian invasion. Artificial intelligence emphasized that the probability of Putin being eliminated by his entourage remains extremely low, given the tight control, mistrust within the security forces, and fear of the consequences. At the same time, in the event of a serious internal crisis, these individuals could become figures capable of influencing a change of power.